When I first saw that the latest update for The Last of Us is a 24 megabyte hotfix update, I thought, Naughty Dog, you had 2 weeks and this is what you give us. I thought Naughty Dog should actually be called Stupid Clown. However, the update is actually pretty good. So in today's video, I'll go over some of the best settings I recommend if you have a GTX 1650 laptop. And what I'll also include is all the different CPU heavy sequences. I'll just show you the subtle improvements. So at that, sit down, strap in, let's go. Right, so yesterday I did do a video where I compared the latest patch for The Last of Us versus the previous patch. So it's 1.0.50 versus 1.0.5.1, which is the latest patch. And just to show you on low settings, what you can see here is it's not major, but there's about 3 FPS higher in 1% lows on the low settings preset, as well as the in-game FPS being quite a bit higher. So for a 24 megabyte update, it's actually not too bad at all, because as you can see by the end of this benchmark, my average FPS is 48 as opposed to 43, and my 1% lows are 3% higher. I don't recommend medium settings because normally a GTX laptop is paired with, or GTX GPU is paired with a quad-core CPU, and The Last of Us is incredibly CPU hungry. So you're probably going to kill off any potential performance due to the CPU limitations. So just to show you what I mean here, there is an improvement, but the thing is, because it's so heavy on your CPU, you see your 1% lows, whereas the latest patch is better than the previous patch. Your 1% lows are still in the 20s, which is not ideal. So I don't recommend a medium preset. But I'm going to get to the settings now, so let's get to it. Right guys, so the first optimization we're going to do is put The Last of Us in a permanent state of high priority, and we're going to do it via regedit. So what I want you to do is, in the description of this video, just copy the link I posted for regedit, and then you're going to open up regedit, and you do that by pressing the Windows key and R, and then just type regedit. And then in the top address bar over here, what I want you to do is just paste that link that you copied in the description of my video, and then press enter, and then it's going to bring you to image file execution options. And yeah, what you're going to do is you're just going to right click it, you're going to put new key, and you're just simply going to put TLOU-I.exe. And then what you're going to do is you're going to right click on that, and you're going to put new key, and then you're going to type in perf options. And then what you're going to do is you're going to select perf options, and then in the main box over here, just go new dword 32-bit value, and you're just going to put CPU priority. Sorry, I'm typing with one hand. Class. And then CPU priority class, you're going to modify this, and you're just going to give it a value of 3. Press enter, press OK, and then you can close regedit. So now what's going to happen is every time you launch The Last of Us, let me just wait for this to launch, and then go back to Windows. Now every time you launch it, it's going to be in high priority. So let's go to details. So now you can see every time you launch The Last of Us, it's automatically set to high priority. And guys, the reason you want to do this is The Last of Us is a very CPU heavy game. So obviously the higher priority you give it, the more smooth your gameplay will be. And that is step number 1. Right guys, so I'm in the game now. I'm on the low settings preset. I am using GeForce Experience to record my gameplay. So I am losing about 2 to 4 FPS maximum. But just to show you, we're going to be working off the low settings preset. So currently I'm on low. Just to show you the performance ain't bad. And the reason I actually use this setting in particular is what you're going to see is the FPS goes up to 50, sometimes 60. But whenever you hit CPU heavy sequences like this, you'll see that the FPS drops. So that is exactly why I do my benchmarks here. So what we want to do is go into settings, go to options, go to graphics, and then what we're going to do is in geometry settings has affect your CPU, so leave that. Texture settings, character texture quality we're going to put to medium. Environment texture quality we're going to put it to medium. And then just texture filtering you're going to put it to times 16. And then guys, ambient shadow quality, with it off, you can see it looks pretty junk. With it on, it looks a lot nicer. Image based lighting. Okay, so let me just apply my settings quickly. So guys, if you look at the ground, you can see the brine looks terribly flat. It doesn't look all that detailed. And then once you go into options and you go to graphics and you put image based lighting on and you hit apply, now you can see it just looks so like it doesn't really impact performance, but it just looks so much better. And then next what we're going to do is we're going to go to graphics again, and then we're going to skip all these settings except for screen space and ambient occlusion. You can see the scene doesn't look that great. You put it on, it looks a lot nicer. Hit apply there, and then screen space cone tracing. With it off, the shadows look a little bit shitty. With it on, it just adds a whole bunch of depth to the shadows. We hit apply, and then we're going to leave reflection settings because those impact your CPU. Leave shading, post effects we're going to leave, and then visual effects settings. Effects density is a new setting that they added in the previous patch. So because most of you are going to have a quad core CPU like myself, you actually want to lessen the load on the CPU. So you're going to put this to very low. And then lens flares you can put on because it actually just makes things look a little bit nicer and it doesn't affect performance. And then lastly, in miscellaneous settings, animation quality you can't change, just leave it on low. Ambient character density, also another thing that affects your CPU, and because we are CPU limited, we're going to just put it on very low. It just slightly less people running in the background or less characters on screen, so it's actually going to bump up your performance quite a bit. So just hit apply. So I'm going to apply and restart.
There's our bridge.
And guys, as you can see, even though this is a CPU heavy scene and we've made things look a little bit better, let me just put the in-game volume down. Even though this is a CPU heavy scene and we've made things look better, you can see we're not really dropping below 40 anymore, which is a massive improvement. But at the same time, I'm just going to run it around a little bit. You'll see that your FPS goes up to 50 odd. It can go up to the 60s every now and then, especially in this sequence, I think. Yeah, it goes 60 plus. But what you'll see is, because your CPU is playing catch up to your GPU the whole time, this game doesn't have a GPU problem. Like a GTX 1650 can run this game just fine. But it's because your CPU is constantly playing catch up to your GPU. So anything above 40 frames is putting unnecessary stress on your CPU. And considering if we get into the more CPU heavy sections, your FPS drops slightly below 40 and anyway. Let me just show you here. Your FPS starts dropping below 40. Okay, it's not doing it now for some reason. Murphy's Law when I'm recording a video. But anyways, guys, so your CPU constantly plays catch up to your GPU. So what you actually want to do, and I did this in my previous video, I actually showed you how to change the in-game FPS to 40 by Rivaturner. Just go ahead and cap your FPS to 40 FPS in Rivaturner. And what that's going to do, it's actually going to drop your CPU usage. So your CPU is not going to have to play catch up to your GPU all the time, which is going to give you a whole lot more stable gameplay. So just go ahead and do that quickly. Right guys, so now that we're in Windows and we're just going to cap our FPS quickly, just open up Rivaturner, just on the global setting, just go add and then find Last of Us. And then just select your Last of Us executable. And now what you're going to do is we're just going to set that to 40. Okay, great. So now we've capped the FPS of The Last of Us to 40. And what's going to happen is you're actually going to notice there's going to be less strain on your CPU and your gameplay is going to be a lot smoother. And now that we've capped the FPS, okay, look, my FPS is dropping a little bit because I am using GeForce Experience. But what you can see is the CPU usage is quite a bit lower. Gameplay is smoother. It looks pretty damn good. And now, because the FPS isn't going super high and then super low, there's less of a strain on the CPU. And that is how you do it. Right guys, just to show you an example, this is another quite CPU heavy sequence. Unfortunately, I'm losing 5 FPS here due to GeForce Experience. But basically what I'm trying to show you here is with those settings, you should be getting just below 40, if not 40, in very CPU heavy sequences. So yeah, without GeForce Experience, I'm getting a stable 40. But it just goes to show that this update is pretty good. All these CPU heavy areas are now performing quite a bit better. And I think what I'll do is I'll show you the one area in the game that is still very badly optimized. Right guys, this is the one area of the game, no matter what amount of tweaking I do and what improvements have come from the update, this is the one CPU area that definitely has not improved. You can go lowest of low and this still drops into the 20s, disappointingly. It's quite bad. It reminds me of playing games on an integrated graphics card. But yeah, all the other CPU scenes are a lot better. This one, however, I don't know what it is. Maybe Mr. Giraffe is quite a heavy bastard. I don't know. But anyways, guys, that's it. And there we have it, guys. That's today's video. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to smash that like button. If you have any questions, please hit me up in the comment section. And guys, if you're still watching and you haven't subscribed as of now, now's the time to do so. Other than that, happy gaming, happy Friday, have a great day, cheers.